Iran. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Netherlands.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear Chair, when I was 15 years old, I remember having my first class of social sciences. I remember there sitting in the back of my classroom and flipping through my book when all of a sudden the title of this paragraph caught my attention. The title said, "The Moroccans Problem." As a Dutch girl born in the Netherlands to my Moroccan parents, diversity has always been something that fascinated me. And not just the diversity that my Dutch and Moroccan ethnicity brought along, but diversity in all its forms. The simple fact that we as humans, our identity is so layered and so complex that this makes us very special. And it is always changing as well, the identity that we have with every experience that we have in life. So when I read the term Moroccans problem, I began to wonder, why was people's identity reduced to one simple aspect of their being? Why was the term so generalizing? And why all of a sudden was there an us and a them? Research from the Netherlands shows that feelings of polarization have increased in the Netherlands in the past year. And this ranges from feelings of divisiveness between people from different ethnical backgrounds, people from different income groups, and people with different political views. The main cause for polarization is a lack of interaction and engagement between people who differ from each other. Because since we base our view of society on our living environment and our surroundings, it is very important to have a clear and a representative view around us of society and of life. So when we live in a homogeneous living environment and don't interact with others, our fear and aversion towards those other groups only grows larger, opening the doors to polarization. When consulting young people in the Netherlands, I oftentimes heard from them that in this same way, social polarization can also be seen back on social media. So how this actually works is that there are these algorithms on social media, for instance on Facebook, which are designed to show people more of the content that they are already viewing, causing them to end up in an echo bubble with like-minded people only. For example, a few weeks ago, for myself, I was looking online for Nike shoes. When I later on went online on Facebook, the first thing that popped up on my timeline were Nike shoes. And of course, my shoe example remains fairly innocent, but these same algorithms go to work when somebody is, for instance, only reading news articles from an extreme source. They only end up showing the person more extreme content, causing them to only see one-sided content that already fits their perception. And the thing is, in this way, people get so accustomed to constantly getting their opinions affirmed by other like-minded that whenever they now encounter somebody that has a different opinion, they react super intensely and aggressively because they are so accustomed to those confirmations. Fortunately, though, we can get out of these echo bubbles. And one of the ways through which we can achieve this is actually the use of social media. Apart from the algorithm side of social media, I myself believe that social media has brought us a lot of great things, such as platforms for activism, social contact, and especially global interconnectedness. And like the Dutch economist Thomas Buster has said once, we must not underestimate the impact that social media can have on global interconnectedness. We may not physically see people through social media, but through it, we can empathize with them. We can feel for them, and we can feel connected to them. So long as the human side of social media is still there, we can fight polarization off. So to combat polarization, we first need to acknowledge that our identity of everybody here in this room as human beings is so complex and so layered that we cannot narrow it down to one aspect and judge and see people on the basis of that. Secondly, I would like to encourage everyone here to seek people who differ from you, differ from cultural background, socioeconomic backgrounds, but also, and maybe especially in this context, people who differ from your political views. It might sound simple, but that's because it is. There's this quote, this very old quote that says, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest form of fear is fear of the unknown." So let's get to know each other then. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished delegate of the Netherlands